The restaurant was buzzing with the soft hum of conversations, clinking glasses, and the faint scent of freshly baked bread. It was the kind of upscale place where businessmen in tailored suits talked too loudly, and waiters were trained to glide across the floor as if they were invisible. Amara knew this world well. At 28, she had been working in the fine dining industry long enough to perfect the art of smiling through disrespect, of biting her tongue when arrogance walked through the door. But what no one in that restaurant knew was that Amara was far more than just a waitress. She carried within her a story of resilience, a child raised by a single mother who worked 3 jobs, a scholarship student who had studied languages in Europe, and a woman who had once dreamed of diplomacy before life's curveballs forced her into survival mode. That night, she noticed him immediately, the billionaire. Tall, gray-haired, with a watch that glittered with diamonds and a smirk that reeked of entitlement. He didn't sit down as much as he owned the table, his body language screaming that everyone around him was beneath him. Amara approached with her usual professionalism, placing menus gently on the table. "Good evening, sir. Welcome. May I start you off with some wine?" she asked warmly. The billionaire glanced at her, his eyes sharp, then shifted to the man beside him. He muttered something in German, thinking no one around could understand. Unglaublich, a black waitress in a place like this. Must be charity work. The men at his table chuckled. Amara felt the words strike her like glass shards. She had heard worse, but something about the way he sneered, as if her existence in that space was laughable, cut deep. Still, she kept her composure. Her heart hammered, her lips pressed together, but her eyes stayed calm. "Sir, would you like red or white?" she asked again, her tone steady. The billionaire smirked, leaned back in his chair, and continued in German. "She probably can't even spell Chardonnay. People like her should be cleaning floors, not serving us." His friends laughed again, louder this time. But Amara smiled. It wasn't the smile of someone beaten down, it was the smile of someone holding back fire. She inhaled deeply, then spoke in perfect, flawless German. "Entschuldigen Sie, Herr Meyer. Mochten Sie den französischen Chardonnay aus 2016 oder den deutschen Riesling? Beides passt hervorragend zu Ihrem Hauptgericht, aber der Chardonnay hat eine elegante Note." Translation: Excuse me, Mr. Meyer. Would you prefer the French Chardonnay from 2016 or the German Riesling? Both pair beautifully with your main course, but the Chardonnay offers a more elegant note. The table went silent. The billionaire's jaw locked. His friend's laughter died instantly, replaced by wide-eyed shock. Amara stood there gracefully, her posture tall, her presence unshaken. The air shifted. For the first time that evening, the billionaire looked small. You speak German," he stammered. Amara tilted her head, her voice calm but firm. "German, French, Spanish, English. I studied in Berlin for 3 years on scholarship. Languages are, kind of my passion. Now, would you like me to recommend a wine, or shall I give you a moment?" The billionaire's face flushed red, not from anger, but shame. He had tried to humiliate her, and instead, she had revealed the ignorance wasn't hers. Throughout the rest of the evening, he couldn't bring himself to look her in the eye. His arrogance had dissolved, and when he left, he tipped a large sum of money, not out of generosity, but guilt. But Amara didn't care about the tip. Later that night, when the restaurant had quieted, her manager pulled her aside. "Amara, I saw what happened. The way you handled that," his voice caught. "You turned something ugly into something powerful." Amara smiled faintly. "I've learned that silence doesn't always protect you. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is show people you're not who they think you are." Word of the incident spread, first among the staff, then among regular customers. Eventually, a food blogger who had been at a nearby table wrote about the moment, the waitress who silenced a billionaire with her intelligence. Amara's story went viral. Within weeks, she was invited to speak on panels about resilience, culture, and dignity. Opportunities she thought were gone forever began opening again. She started consulting in international hospitality, using her language skills to bridge cultural gaps. And the billionaire, no one remembers his name in that story. Only hers. Because the truth is, arrogance fades. Wealth, power, and titles can vanish. But respect, dignity, and knowledge, those are treasures no one can strip away. Amara would always remember that night. Not as the night she was mocked, but as the night she turned mockery into a spotlight, and proved that sometimes the most powerful response to cruelty is grace backed by strength.